There was a fire in my house. After I risked my life to save my parents, who were the richest people in the country, multiple media outlets wanted to interview me. Faced with the journalists' questions, my parents said that they would fulfill any of my wishes. Their adopted daughter, Lily Jackson, thought that I would use this chance to drive her away, and her eyes had begun to turn red. But I just looked at the camera and said coldly, I want to sever all ties with the Jackson family, and I want all of you to be witnesses of my decision. The crowd went into an uproar. My parents were infuriated. The journalists wanted to ask some more questions, but I just started packing my luggage. Only I was aware that I was reborn. During my previous life, I took the chance of this interview to drive Lily out of the family. Not long after she was taken away by her biological parents, they sold her to a man, and she died a terrible death within her husband's house. My parents pretended like they didn't care and said to me that it was Lily's fate, but in truth, they secretly started poisoning my food. After the poison killed me, they placed my body in front of Lily's grave in a position, as if I was on my knees and apologizing to her. They made me pay for Lily's death with my life. If you hadn't driven Lily away, Lily wouldn't have met such a terrible fate. You should pay for what happened to her with your life. That was the last thing I heard, and I became completely disappointed with them. But when I opened my eyes again, I realized I was reborn and went back to the day of the fire. What do you want as your reward, Laura? Tell us and we'll make it happen. Hearing the familiar voice, I looked around in shock. The journalists around me were all smiling warmly. Laura, you risked your life to save your parents. You deserve to be rewarded. Go on, tell us what you want. I opened my mouth, but before I could say anything, Lily threw herself into my parents' arms. Mom, Dad, I was worried sick. I wanted to go in and save you, but Laura didn't let me. My parents immediately wrapped their arms around Lily and began checking if she was hurt. Seeing that, I decided to keep quiet. I looked at the three of them who looked like a happy family of three. When the fire started in our house, I was woken up from my nap by the choking smoke. After I ran out of the house, I realized that my parents were still trapped inside. I wanted to head back into the house with Lily to save them, but she just ran to safety and said disdainfully, I am not risking my own life to go back in there to save them. They're not even my real parents anyway. I'd rather they die in this fire. That way, I can inherit all their assets. I had no choice but to tell her to call 911, and I chose to go back into our house to save my parents. But right now, my parents didn't even pay any attention to my burnt arm. Instead, they began comforting Lily, who they thought was frightened. This was the ridiculous family that I was living in. My parents only realized that they had left me hanging when they heard the journalist's reminder. You are not the only hero today, Laura. Lily wanted to come and save us, but you stopped her. You are the one who prevented her from gaining any merit. You've always liked to compete for our love. We'll let this matter slide this time, but you'd better think carefully about this wish of yours today. Their eyes were cold. It was as if I didn't save them from the fire. Instead, I was trying to kill them with the fire. At that moment, Lily, who was crying in their arms, turned around and said, Laura, I know you've always hated me and wanted to compete with me for Mom and Dad's love. You must really want to use this chance to kick me out of the house, right? If that is your wish, then for the sake of Mom and Dad's reputation, I'll make sure you get what you want. Lily's words caused an uproar in the crowd. The journalists who had been praising me just now looked at me with curious eyes, as if waiting to hear some gossip. Laura, do you not like your sister? Why did you stop your sister from going into the fire to save your parents? Do you want to take all the credit for yourself? You and Lily are sisters. Have you thought about how your parents will feel when they find out what you've done? I was overwhelmed by countless questions. Not only did my parents not help me out, but they pulled Lily behind them to protect her from the journalists. Laura, you can ask for jewelry, cars, or anything else, but Lily is our daughter. You can't just ask us to kick her out of the house just because you saved our lives. After hearing my parents' warning, tears welled up in my eyes. Lily Jackson was only their adopted daughter. I, Laura Jackson, was their biological daughter. We were switched at birth. When I suffered at Lily's parents' house, Lily enjoyed my parents' love and lived a luxurious life. I thought things would improve after I left my abusive foster parents, but I was wrong. To my parents, I was the outsider. They hated how insecure and timid I was.